just don't understand Goooh. So if
it's
you
not
guys
Goooh, it's called Go, and it means get out of our house. That's what it stands for.
So it's not just some sticky political thing people's going to get trapped up in?
No, it's not going to. It's not going to be that at all. It's going to be it's citizen representation to take the place of our present congressmen and congresswomen that we have in Washington right now. What we're trying to do is replace those professional politicians with citizen representation.
What we need to do is bring back in accountability, get out the big money like special interests, lobbyists, and we also want to put in term limits so people don't go to Washington and become career politicians. Cut you down to 2 terms, you go home, and someone else gets to come up and take their turn at representing the citizens of the United States.
Well, if we did that, we'd be kicking out Ron Paul, who's the only good politician we've had in 20, 30 years.
Well, there's quite a few good politicians. We would just hope that they would move up possibly to the Senate, or maybe they need to be running for governor of their states.
Or even president, Ron Paul for president.
Well,
now, Bill, you're the state coordinator, and Sean, you're District 2?
Correct.
District 2 rep.
Okay.
Correct. Go ahead.
People belong to the House. The House of Representatives is for the people. Originally, the Senate was to represent the states. So we feel that the House of Representatives need to have common people bringing in the interest of their district up to Washington so that they can support their people, represent their people in their districts. So it's kind of a grassroots movement. We're not looking for, fancy people. It's a whole process to select these people, and the best people bubble up to the top and become the representatives for their district.
Yeah, one of the problems that we run into is a lot of people think that the Go process is going to split the party. And, whether it's the Republicans in the Republican area or the Democrats in the Democrat area, those people are concerned that Go will split the party vote, and then they're afraid the other party will get elected. One of the things I like to point out to people is I like to give them an idea of what I see Washington. It's an analogy that I like to use. We all understand what an organ grinder is. From used to be going around and playing music, I had a monkey and collected money. Well, that's my picture of Washington. You've got an organ grinder that's standing there. He's got his organ and he's cranking out the music that everybody's the beat of the music that everybody's tapping their toes to. And off of that organ, there's a chain that runs off, and on the end of that chain is a monkey on it. And that monkey's walking around with this big giant cup. There's a big crowd of people standing in front of him, and they're all out there stuffing money into this cup. And this monkey walks around, and he's collecting the money. And that's my analogy of Washington, and let me explain to you what that actually is. That organ grinder is the political party. The music he's playing out, that's the political agenda, and everybody dances to the agenda that the party has. The leash and the collar on that monkey, that's the party control over the monkey. All those people standing out there handing out money are the special interest groups, the lobbyists, the fat cats, the corrupt money. And that cup that monkey's walking around with, if you look on the side of it, it says campaign contribution. And he's out there working all day collecting money. I said, what Go wants to do is to remove the leash from the monkey, take the collar off, get rid of the cup. But once we remove all of that, then of course, the people with the money have to go away because there's no need for them anymore. There's no more cup. The organ grinder's gone. The organ's gone. There's no more agenda. And now you've taken your monkey and you've turned him back into a congressman. And if we were a third party, all we would do is be bringing a different monkey to the game. But we're not bringing a different monkey to the game. We're getting rid of the control over those candidates that turns them into a monkey, requires them to run around and dance to the beat of the organ grinder, the party, and dance to their agenda and collect money all day long so that they can have the privilege of putting that leash back on their neck every 2 years. And so with Go, we get rid of that leash. We get rid of that stranglehold on our candidates, and they go from being a monkey, just another monkey, to being a candidate again, standing on their own 2 feet, no longer beholden to the party or the agenda or the control. And they can actually serve we the people rather than the party or the party agenda. And that's how you're going to fix Washington. That's how you're going to remove the corruption. Bring in a Go candidate, not just another candidate that's going to be stuck wearing that leash, carrying that cup. And we believe that will fix Washington if people would sign up for Go and we all start picking our own candidate and getting rid of the money.
Now, Sean, are Democrats and Republican candidates excluded from Go?
Yeah, this is a nonpartisan movement. We just want to stop the monkeying around. We're looking for people of like mind, conservative people that believe in doing things the right way with a little bit of common sense, not going up there to take money from special interest groups to line their pockets. so that they can retire real wealthy. We want people to go up there, represent their people in their district, and then go back home when they're done with their job and let someone else take a turn at it. We want to get back to being conservative fiscally, tighten up our borders, getting back to the Constitution. We believe the Constitution is the rule and law of the land, and it should be lived by.
Yeah, it should, people's voices should be heard in Washington, not the voices of just two parties. Right now there's only two voices heard in Washington, that's the Republican voice and the Democrat voice from those two parties, but the people's voice is not being heard anymore. This last Obamacare that just passed was a perfect example. The people's voices were obviously against it, but the party agenda, the organ grinder was cranking away. Pelosi was just going to town, and that's what happened is they passed that because that was the party line. That was the party agenda, and that's not what the people wanted. And that continues, and it's not just with the Democrats. The Republicans do it. They've all done it, and they'll all continue to do it if we allow this to go on.
And you sure it's not the Republican military-industrial complex against the Democratic medical hierarchy complex?
It may very well be those are the two complexes that are against it. I think there's a lot more involved. There's a lot more special interest groups involved running those two parties than just those two things that you talk about. There's a whole lot. There's the unions behind the Democrats. There's the military. There's the big business. There's the banks behind the Republicans. I mean, there's a whole bunch of corruption and a lot of special interest groups and a lot of corrupt money involved in both parties. No doubt about it. And we want to get rid of that.
Let me explain the process, how it works. Not too long ago, we were in the March Madness, and everybody signed up for their brackets. I think you understand how brackets work. It goes kind of the same way. What we hope to do is have 1,000 to 1,200 people in each district that will become GOAT candidates. Each one of those candidates will fill out a questionnaire of approximately 100 questions stating how they would vote on different issues that we brought up in Congress or in the United States that are pertinent to what's happening now. So these people will get together in groups of 10. In that group, go through a whole questioning process, an interview process. Now that group of 10, 2 people will be selected to move forward. So on that first weekend, we might have 120 groups of 10. Those groups will pick 2 people. The following week, and we'll have another 240 people. It'll break down into groups of 10, and they'll go through the same process. We'll continue going through these brackets and narrowing it down until we end up with one final person who would be the GOAT candidate. And that would be the person we run for that particular district. So at that point, we have all the people that have talked with them and have sat through these sessions and know them and understand them. They will be out supporting them and campaigning for them on a grassroots level. And those people that choose, and we hope everybody chooses to participate and go, will have had a say in who their GOAT candidate is. Not some party saying this is who you're going to vote for. It's the people selecting their own candidates through this very in-depth, detailed process that eliminates and weeds out the corrupt and the poor people that might not be able to represent the district, and only the best will bubble up, and those are who we will run for our seat in Congress.
We're just dealing with the House of Representatives. We're not trying to elect senators or any other office right now. There's only one office that GO is focused on, and that's the House of Representatives. Your congressman. And your congressman, if you sit down and take a look at if these people that go through the GO process, they actually are going to educate themselves about the candidates that are there. They're going to pick the candidate that they want to represent them. It's not somebody being picked in some back smoke-filled room by the Republican Party or Democrat Party picking a candidate for them. So they're going to get to pick their candidate, then support their candidate, and then elect their candidate. So they're going to be, the whole process is going to be of the people, for the people, by the people. It's going to be a citizen representative, not a party person that's going to represent them.
People have gotten pretty lax. They've been very apathetic and not involved in the political process. And that's part of what's got us to where we are today, because we all have jobs to do, we have families to raise, and we're allowing the politicians, we figured we had hired or voted on good people to represent us. But what we found now is we've elected these people who aren't representing us whatsoever. So we need as citizens to get back involved in the process. That's one thing GO does. It allows the citizen to get back involved in the process, it takes out the party, and brings it back to the people. The House belongs to the people, and that's what we're going to restore.
Yes. If you would like to support the Abigail Adams Project, you can go to